Good afternoon, Wealth Our Way Nation. What is going on? It is your man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform, Wealth Our Way, where you know what it is. Our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome you all to episode 36. Turo is work. Anything worthwhile ain't easy. Y'all already know that. I want to thank each and every one of you who are with me live as I stream across the Wealth Our Way Facebook and YouTube pages. I also want to give a salute and shout out to the Wealth Our Way Nation members who watch this program pre-recorded overnight, over the weekend, or wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in because they are committed to the cause. And I'd like to, of course, give a heartfelt what's up to the Life 101 platform members who listen to the audio recording of this program. So as you can see, I'm in the whip today. I'm on the road. I'm picking up, up in New York, I'm picking up some precious cargo to transport. Keep that between me and my peoples. But, everybody who needs to know knows. And what I wanted to say is, the show don't stop. As the caption goes in this title, anything worthwhile is not easy. It ain't easy bringing you 15 minutes of finance every day, but I'm committed to doing it. I do have to say, on a personal note, my assistant Renee clowned me today because I was speaking with her on the drive up here, and for whatever reason we got into wardrobe, and she told me I'm probably wearing my red temple shirt, and I just was like, damn, I am wearing my red temple shirt. How do you know? And she's like, you rotate between the same 4 or 5 shirts all the time. So I thought that was funny. I don't know if you cats think or notice the same thing, but just, personal information. I always share my transparency. I told you cats, and y'all saw, I lost a bunch of weight. And when I got down to the 370 mark, I got rid of all my 5X and 6X shirts, with the exception of maybe 3 of them, and bought a bunch of 4X and 3X shirts. And now them Jones feel like tight extra mediums on me. So I had to go back to my 5X, and I have very limited quantity. I refuse to buy a bunch of new big shirts. So yes, I am rotating the same several t-shirts that I have, but they clean. Every time I got them on, they clean. I just got to wash them often. So yeah, in case y'all noticed that. Let's talk about this Turo. I hope we're having a great week talking about Turo. Renee's gonna put a couple of resources in the chat box today, because what I want to talk about is where I went to get my information on Turo and where you guys will need to go to get your information on Turo. So the first place I went is to Turo.com, and Turo has an app, but you can download the app or you can go to Turo.com. That is the most trusted resource you're going to find for all things Turo. If you want the information, you go straight to the horse's mouth. You don't take it from me or any other YouTube personality. You go right to the people. Now, here's the thing. Turo, like any other entity that is trying to convince you to do something, they're going to give you the positive spin on it. And that's another reason why you do listen to people like myself or other people in the social media space, because the reality is that people who have actually tried it will be able to tell you more. So that's where you'll see these names that Renee just put in the link. There were 2 women that stood out above all of the other Turo talking heads that I researched. And I looked at about 30 people, no exaggeration. The 2 people that stood out the most were these 2 women. One of them, I'm going to butcher her name, but I want to say it's Siamaya or Samai. And she deals more on the high-end Turo. So yesterday I talked to you the difference between premium Turo, get my finger in the picture, premium way of doing Turo or economy way of doing Turo. Samai deals more with the premium way. She rents out Corvettes and Benzes and Beamers. She's balling on this thing. And then there's Aubrey Janik. I love Aubrey's energy. I love her informative spirit. I'm going to try and get her to get on 15 Minutes of Finance. She big time now. She may tell her brother no, but I'm going to ask, nothing beats a try but a failure, my grandma used to tell me. And Aubrey, her husband and her do the business together. She's been doing it so long now that she's profitable to the point where she has retired her husband from his day job, and they do the business together. And a lot of what I'm fashioning my Turo business after comes from Aubrey's advice and her channel. She actually does something on Tuesdays, which she calls Top 10 Tuesday. And I am going to model a little bit of that on 15 Minutes of Finance. I'm going to probably do Top 3 Tuesday or Top 3 Thursday, where I give you guys some helpful tips on those days. She gives you top 10 Turo tips on Tuesday. I say that real fast, top 10 Turo tips. But one week she said the top 10 most profitable cars. The other week it was the least 10, top 10 of the least most profitable cars. And she gives very, very good information. So Aubrey Janik or Samai's Experience, if you put either one of them into YouTube in the search bar, you will get a litany of their videos. What I want to do today, though, is we have a saying where I come from. And yes, I know yesterday I told you I don't like hood sayings. I don't like all hood sayings. Some hood sayings resonate with me. And one hood saying that I've always kind of embraced was people think it's sweet. It ain't sweet. And what that means, whether you're from the hood or not, let me translate. It means that there's no such thing as a free lunch, that anything worthwhile is hard to do. If it wasn't, everybody would be doing it. I will say, like I pointed out earlier in the week, it has come to me that as a 51-year-old kind of set in my way guy, I got to embrace the fact that there are new ways to make money. There are new ways to do things that, in my opinion, are a lot easier to make money than going to work every day for 40, 50 hours a week and, having a boss one day come and give you a pink slip. There's a lot of ways to be entrepreneurs today. And I've told you on previous 15 Minute of Finance episodes that being an entrepreneur is great for many, many reasons. One of which is near and dear to my heart, is you get better control of how you pay your taxes. You can minimize your tax liability. If you got a job and you are a W-2 employee at a job, very little control over what you do with your taxes. The federal government will tell your employer to withhold whatever amount that they're withholding, and then they tax you at the end of the year. It minimizes your ability to take deductions. But if you're an entrepreneur, all kinds of deductions open up. And in this day and age, and that's one of the principles that I taught in my book, the 5 major money moves and 3 money must do's, you got to be an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form these days, if for no other reason, to get the tax breaks. With that being said, let me tell you some of the things as I am exploring my own Turo business that came up as serious head scratchers or, how am I going to get around this, or who's going to do this? Because I was watching one of Aubrey's videos 2 days ago, and her husband were on their way to check out a car, and they had literally pulled up on the car. They had to vacuum it, wipe it down with the sanitization wipes, and then take it doing that. Big Tank is not going to ever. I had to turn my car on so my internet stays hooked up to the phone. Big Tank is never going to wipe a car seat down. Big Tank is never going to take the car to to the economy car wash to get it washed. That's not what I do. My time is more valuable than that, which is why I explained to you the other day that I'm going to enlist my kids in this business, and they will all have a role to play, because I can pay one of my children $10, $12, $13 an hour or an assignment to go wash the car, to go vacuum the car. You have to make sure that as you're running a business, you have your revenue that is coming in and your labor expenses all meted out, and then you take the profit. That is what being an entrepreneur is all about. There are certain ways to maximize your dollar profits by, instead of paying someone else to do a job, deciding that you're going to do that job yourself. I am here to tell you that is one of the things I love about being an entrepreneur, is having that flexibility to pick and choose what parts of the job I want to do and I don't want to do. After watching that video, she and her husband clearly love that part of the job. They love wiping the cars down and getting them ready, and I don't. I'm not ever doing that, and that's cool. That's what you will be deciding as you go through this process. When you look on the Turo website, it's going to tell you all good news. It's going to say the average car on Turo gets an average annual income of about $10,300 a year. So the first thing people are going to think, because people don't think things all the way through, is I'm going to make $10,000. It's not what they're saying. First thing they said is average. So it's not indicative that you're going to get that. That's what the average of everybody will end up getting. And second thing it's saying is that is the income. That's not the profit. That's how much money is generated. You still have to pay for the car. You have to pay for the cleaning. You have to pay for the gas, the wear and tear. That's what we talked about yesterday on what your net profit is. So it's not sweet. It said that if you have 9 cars, it just multiplied 9 times 10,000, and it showed you that the average annual income from somebody with 9 cars on Turo is $90,000. That probably got a lot of people hot and bothered and excited, because if you're sitting at your day job in your cubicle every day making 63 grand a year, and you think, hey, if I could just get 9 cars on Turo, I could make 93,000 a year, you're going to quit your job. Once again, be understanding of the difference between income and profit. The profit on a $10,000 income is probably closer to $4,000. There's like about a 60% overhead in Turo just on the protection plan and the wear and tear of your car alone. When you factor in the possibilities of vacancies and things of that nature, I'm thinking your profit margin is going to be somewhere between 35 and 40%. I really want you guys to check out Aubrey and Samai's YouTube pages, because they'll talk to you a little bit more about profit margins, and they have a lot more experience than I do. Once again, I'm just in my research stages right now, but I'm looking at it as somewhere between 35 and 40% profit margins. Now, once again, I'm thinking I can get 20 cars on Turo in the next 18 months because I have capital, because I have money. So if I do get 20 cars on Turo and the average car is making me $4,000 profit, that's 80 grand a year in profit that I'll pay taxes on and go from there, and I'll be depreciating cars, and that'll lower my tax base or whatever. But that's a great alternative stream of income if I'm not having to do any additional work. What else do I mean when I say it's not easy and it ain't sweet? Well, think about me having 20 cars on Turo. Where the hell am I gonna park 20 cars? You know, you have to take these things into consideration. A lot of people, and Aubrey talks about this on her page, when you start to build a fleet, so to speak, you need to store your cars somewhere. You may have to pay somebody to keep cars at their property or on their lot. Now you have to worry. You ever rode past a car dealership, and do you see how they park the cars diagonally in the driveway, and some of them chain the cars around the perimeter? Because people will come in the middle of the night and steal your damn cars. So you now have the added burden of making sure your assets are protected. People steal Turo cars all the time. That was what I told you yesterday when we were talking about the difference between the premium way to go and the economy way to go. I would rather go the economy way, because I'm thinking somebody's not going to want to steal my 2010 Dodge Charger as fast as they would want to steal my 2021 Mercedes S500. So you have to keep that in mind too. It's not sweet. The last thing is the key thing, the point of contact. Checking cars in and out is a process. Verifying somebody's ID, letting them in the car. Now you can do it remotely. You can do it in person. Turo has apps that help you, has an app that helps you out with getting people's information and verifying them. And plus, in order to rent from you on Turo, you have to be a Turo registered client. So Turo does some background checking as well. But ultimately, it is buyer beware. It is host beware. You are at the risk of the people who you rent out your car to. So with that in mind, you want to make sure, I'm just turning my car on again so I don't lose the internet again. You have to make sure that you have a process down pat that will make it so that you're not at a loss. I tell people all the time, I've heard of McDonald's that have went out of business. Most of us think McDonald's greatest franchise ever. They print money. If you have a McDonald's, you're going to make money. No, there are McDonald's that go out of business because they keep their bathrooms dirty, or the people behind the counter are nasty when you talk to them, or their food is cold, or the bun is hard. There's all types of way to turn people off. And when you have a system that works on very narrow margins, and you're expecting something to be right time and time again, the littlest thing could throw that off. So make sure that you have a process in place that maximizes the customer experience, because ultimately that is how you will differentiate yourself on Turo, is through the customer experience. People being happy with your car, your process, the ease of check-in, the ease of checkout, and how much close to your indicative posting your car actually represents. So with that being said, I'm hoping that we're continuing to learn on Turo. Please check out Aubrey and Samai's pages. Come back tomorrow. We'll be talking about what me and my family are doing with the Turo business. And remember, here on Wealth Our Way, wealth is not only for the wealthy. Take care and have a great day.